Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Chenan Ahanotu, and I'm welcoming you to week 3 of our series, which is helping your special needs child find his voice. The teaching we have for today, which is attention, teaching your child to pay attention. All right, because attention is the first skill you have to learn, a child has to learn in order to speak. All right, so a recap of last week, we talked about you being the first therapist for your child. So we spoke a lot about you being the first because you have the time advantage with your child, you have more time with him, you have the consistency advantage. Therapy lasts for 1 hour or as long as you agree with the therapist, but then for the rest of the day you are with your child, so you have the advantage to consistently teach him that which was learned in therapy, and also you have the bond advantage, so you know the best time and the best way to bond with your child. So that is why you're the best therapist, and that's why I'm out here to teach you the skills to use in order to speed up your child's learning process. All right, so today we are going to talk about attention, and you look at the iceberg I told you about, the communication iceberg, you actually see that attention is the first skill that has to be learned. Why? Because it is crucial. Okay, first of all, what is attention? Attention is the ability to focus on a particular thing for a certain period of time. Attention is you focusing. For example, you paying attention to me now means that you are focusing on me and you are actively processing all that I'm saying, excluding or tuning out every other thing that is in the environment, so that you'll be able to learn something from me. So attention is focusing on something and actively processing it, tuning out every other thing in the environment long enough to learn from it. So that's basically what attention is. So the first thing is to focus on something. Secondly is to actively process it. So as I'm speaking now, your brain is processing what I am saying, and then you are tuned in long enough in order to learn what I'm saying, the English I'm speaking, whether I'm making some sense. And of course, you are tuning out every other thing in the environment, whether the television is on, whether somebody is speaking at the background. You have tuned out everything just to pay attention to me. So that's what attention is. All right, so why attention matters so much is because it is the gateway to imitation. Attention is the first thing we learn. The child unconsciously learns it. Why? Because he is seeking to learn from the environment. When a baby is born, the baby comes into an environment in which he's unfamiliar with. So what I tell my parents is that language or speech is not inborn, it is learnt. Why? If language came with us, the first day a baby is born, the baby has to start speaking, but alas, the baby is not speaking. So how does the baby learn to speak? First of all, the baby pays attention. That's the first skill. The baby pays attention to his environment, watching the mother's face, mimicking the mother. If the mother laughs, the baby will be happy and laughs back. And if the mother is frowning, the baby starts crying. You understand? So the baby is paying attention to the mother's face, and that is why he is now able to imitate the mother. So if the mother is smiling, oh baby, 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 how are you, baby, how are you, the baby imitates and starts smiling and laughing and giggling. That is why the child pays attention After paying attention, he now imitates the mother in smiling, in crying, in frowning, and that is how language comes about. After imitating the mother in these facial expressions, the baby starts imitating words. First of all, he starts trying to, because he has watched the parents, everybody is talking. This, my sister is calling mother this person is talking that. So the baby starts to imitate. Why? He's not saying mama, baba, because he has paid attention to what everybody is saying, and he's now trying to imitate it, to say it. And that's how speech comes about. So the first thing is that the child is paying attention to his environment, knowing what is happening, and then he's now trying to imitate it. So first of all, attention is the gateway to imitation, and imitation is now the gateway to language. If the child is lost in his own zone and not paying attention to whatever is happening, he cannot even try to imitate. So if you know, autistic children are always on their own. They are always focused on their own self. They are not paying attention to what is happening. So that's why it's as if they are not speaking. They are not socializing. Why? They are not paying attention. So you have to draw out their attention first before you can now start teaching them any other thing. Alright, so let's look at the different types of attention. The first type of attention is soul attention. That is where the autistic child falls into. The autistic child is focused on himself or on what he wants. So he's focused on himself or on his selfish interest. For example, he's interested in the car, so he's always looking at the car. He's not minding any other thing that is happening in his environment. So that is soul attention. Second kind of attention we have is the shared or joint attention, where the focus is on something with another person. For example, this is my phone and I'm looking at it, and my child comes to look at it with me. So if I'm showing him something on the screen, I'm like, oh, this is a comb. Ah, this person is dancing. We are focusing on a particular thing. So focused attention or shared attention or joint attention is where your child is looking at something together with you long enough to learn something from it. Remember what we said about attention. So the child has to be paying attention to that thing long enough to learn from it. So if I'm saying, oh, see, the man is dancing, the child is listening to me with his ears. He is looking at the object with his eyes, along with me. So we are having a joint attention on that thing long enough. So joint attention is when two of us are looking at something, learning from something, and all that. Then sustained attention is focusing for a longer time on something. And I think that's where we all want to get our kids to, where they are not focusing on themselves, but they are having joint attention with us, and the attention is long enough for them to learn something from it. To look at strategies to build attention, and that is where I know all of us are interested in, because as I said, without attention, both the language you're talking about and even the academic skills you want your child to learn, he won't be paying attention to learn it. So how can we now build attention? First of all, you have to be intentional about teaching your child attention. Why? Because your child is not interested in paying attention to anything. He's not interested. So it's not something you now do casually. You have to be intentional and say, okay, I'm teaching my child this thing. And what that means is that you have to be proactive. You have to plan ahead. So the first thing is to find out what your child is interested in. Find and follow his interests. one of the mistakes parents make is that they want to force attention. So when it's just like your teenage daughter is listening to music and maybe or reading is a very interesting novel, and you want him to help you with something, as if her attention is not in what you're saying. After saying that, and you'll be like, did you hear me? And she'll be like, ah, mommy, what did you say? All those things you said were not registering. Why? She wasn't paying attention. Her attention was in the book she was reading. Her interest was there. So in order to make her to listen to you and obey you, you have to first of all come to her and say, ah, this book you are reading is interesting. What's the name? And she'll be enthusiastic to answer you, okay, the name is Margaret Thatcher. It was written in, and she would start gisting you about that book. Why? Because it's her interest. So maybe when you have caught that her attention through her interest, you now be like, okay, can you pause it a bit? Can you come and help me fetch something from downstairs? And she'll be like, okay, mom, let me go and get it. Why? You got her interest. You followed her interest. Her interest was in that book, and used that book to catch her attention. So it is with a special needs child. So if your child is playing with a toy and you want to teach him a particular skill, you have to come down to his level. That's the third one. Get down to his level. Join him in his play. That thing that is interesting to him, you have to get down to that and say, oh, JJ, you're playing with the cup. Okay, and that is how you now get his attention. Maybe you now touch the cup, you now say, hey, what color is this cup? And all that. You have caught his attention through that interest. So when you are intentional, you have to find your child's interest. You have to get down with him and find how to join him in that his interest. And then before you go or before you start it, you have to plan ahead. You be like, what can I use this child's interest to teach him? All right. So for example, let's give an example. If your child is interested in shoelaces, why I'm using shoelace now is because some of my parents are like, I don't understand where my child just started getting interested in lace, just tying shoelace up and down. So I'm using that for an example now. So if your child is interested in the shoelace, he's always tying it, removing it, fixing it, or just spinning it around, whatever it is. At this moment, that is his interest. So for you, the parent, for you to use this proactively to teach him, you have to think ahead. What can I teach my son with this shoelace? So you can just call him by his name, JJ. Okay, you are playing with the shoelace. So you can pick up another pair of shoelace and be like, wow, and create a game out of it. Say, ah, this is lace, shoelace. So you can now play a game. Say, take, and he'll take and give you back. Give me one, he'll give it to you. Take, and he'll take. Give me. Wow, JJ is a good boy. You have gotten his attention. At that moment, remember when he was playing with the shoelace, it was a sole attention. He was just fixated on his own interest. He wasn't really learning anything from there. He wasn't learning. He was just whiling away his time. So you, the mom, has to now think, what can I use this moment to teach him? So maybe before you get down on the floor with him, I say you have to be intentional. My dear parents, some of you don't have the time to really do this with your kids, and I'm begging you to have the time to teach your kids. Don't say, I gotta play, go out from here, you're disturbing me. Please use every moment to teach them. All right, so when you take the lace, for example, you can say, okay, I want to teach him numbers. I want this opportunity to teach him numbers. So you can pull out all the laces in the shoes in the house and be like, okay, JJ, you're doing lace. Let's do lace. See lace. First of all, you now mention if it's verbal, he can be repeating after you. If it's non-verbal, still continue calling lace, lace, or shoelace, shoelace. So if it's not yet verbal, you can just use one syllable word, lace, lace. If it's verbal already, shoelace. First of all, it's telling him that the name of that object is lace, and it's registering in his memory, lace, lace. So when you're not playing the game, the take, give me, take, give me, is teaching him social skills also. So when you have planned that is numbers you want to teach him with, you can now line up the laces. Because he's interested in them, he will even be, he'll want to grab all of them, and he'll be like, okay, let's count, let's count. You now raise them up, one, and be giving him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 laces. And then JJ, give me. So he'll now be giving you, you'll be counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have used that to teach him numbers. That his interest in lace is no more sole attention when he's playing on his own. It's now joint attention. So you can even say, okay, let me use and teach him colors, sorting. So you can now start sorting the laces by their colors. This is brown, this is white, brown, white. Yay, we have 2 browns, we have 2 whites. So that lace is now an opportunity for him to learn numbers, colors, and all that. So 2 of you are having a joint attention on that. With time, it will actually improve his joint attention. Okay, so what this does, getting your child's attention, what it does is to teach him other skills. You use the opportunity to teach him other skills. So we are not getting his attention just to get his attention. We are not sitting down and tell him, look at me, and he'll be looking at you. Looking at you for what? How is that attention? Me, if you tell me to look at you, why should I look at you? Remember, attention is focusing on something with intent of learning from it. So you just sit down and tell your child, look at you, and now count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he removes his eye. What has he learned from that? Actually nothing. So attention building is in preparation to learn a skill. That is why, as a proactive mom, you have to fashion in, what can I use this opportunity to teach my child? So you could teach him words or names of things, like we mentioned in the lace. You can use it to teach him turn taking. Or yeah, take, give me, take, give me. Because I know that some autistic children don't like sharing. Yes, I know that very well. They like, autism is about self. So they like keeping things to themselves, that they don't want another person to take. Use that opportunity to teach him sharing. Give me, good job, yeah, take, give me, take, give me. With just that list, you have taught him giving. So you can bring in the siblings, or yeah, give Brian, Brian, give JJ, JJ, give me. So it goes round. So it teaches sharing too, just with the list. That is interest. Because he is really into it, he doesn't want it to go out from his eyes. So he's always watching. He goes to this person, goes to mommy, goes to me, and all that. So teaches play skills too. He's learning how to play. When you throw it up, you bring it down, and all of you laugh. It's teaching him social skills. Then you can also teach him cognitive skills, numbers, colors, shapes, sorting, whatever it is. That is why we want to get their attention. So there is an opportunity to teach a lot of things. So the sole aim of grabbing their attention is to move from sole attention, where they are focused only on themselves, to joint attention, where they are looking at a particular thing with you. Just like the lace, they are looking at the lace with you. And then with that sustained attention, you just need to teach them a particular thing, whether it's vocabulary, speech, play, academics, whatever it is. So that's the aim of attention. So the common mistakes to avoid in teaching this is forcing it. Please don't force attention. That's what most of us do. We force attention. Look at me. Look at me. I'm talking to you. And as I said earlier, even if it's a human, an adult you are talking to, you don't command attention. You invite attention. When you command attention, the person is not really listening to you. The eyes might be there, but the mind is not there. So he might be looking at you out of respect. And after you have said and said and said and said, what did I say? You find out the person wasn't listening. So when you use the child's interest to come in, the child is more interested, and he will be actively following what you're saying. So don't force it. Don't command, look at me. All right. Then the second thing is to remove distractions. You can never compete with the phone, with TV, with every noise. Remember, most autistic children, they have attention issues too. Their eyes is everywhere, and sometimes if they are playing with the lace and you want to come and play with the lace with them, they can leave it for you. But now you have to be the one to invite them. No, 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 Brian, come. See lace, lace. Oh, yeah, take. You give it back to him. Give me. So you have to carefully invite him back into it. You have to remove distractions. You don't use phone or music or all those things to teach attention. Those things have a way of pulling one's attention. Even we adults, you might be busy, but by the time you hear a particular music or the sound of one film like that, it's difficult to remove your mind from there and focus on what you're really doing. And it's more difficult for children. So when it's time, when you see an opportunity to teach your child something, make sure that there are no competing noises around. Remove the phone, remove music, remove television that can distract. All right. Then thirdly, don't expect sustained attention immediately. So 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes is enough. Remember, attention is focusing on something while actively processing it. So it's not about how long, it's about, even if it's 2 minutes, your child was able to process, give, take, and he loses interest. It is okay. It is okay. So that 2 minutes is enough because he was actively involved. It has registered. That give, take has registered. So don't expect sustained attention because they might lose interest suddenly. Follow your child's lead. So when he loses interest in the lace, watch him and see if there's any other thing he could find interesting. And as a proactive and intelligent mother you are, use that thing again to teach him something. So if he leaves the lace and goes to shoe, you say, hey, shoe. You start saying shoe. Put on shoe. Wear shoe, or left shoe, right shoe, or the color of the shoe, white shoe, brown shoe, or you start counting 1 shoe, 2 shoes. So you switch immediately. That's where his interest is, and use it to teach immediately. So just follow the child's lead, whether it's 2 minutes, 5 minutes. By the time you do it consistently, your child will be good. So those are the strategies I have for you to use and start teaching your child attention. Remember, attention is not just to be taught for attention's sake. You don't tell a child, sit down and look at me. No. That 2 minutes is he's paying attention to you. Teach him something good. And that's how progress will be made. In summary, we have learned that attention is the ability for your child to focus on you, on an object or an activity long enough to learn from it. Whether it's 1 minute or 2 minutes, he has learned something. Then you are to use your child's interest to teach him. And number 3, be proactive. Look out for skills you can use that his interest to teach him. And with that, your child will make enormous progress. So I hope you use these strategies. So in the comment section, whatever stands out to you from this, and let me see what your child's interest is and how you hope to use it to teach you. So for now, I remain Dr. Uchenna Ahanotu. I am here to help you help your child speak. If you systematically follow this and you are invested in your child's progress, I bet you your child will speak.